Welcome back to Vintage Lunchbox Reviews, a show in which I review my vintage lunchboxes. It's right there in the name. On today's episode, I'm going to look at this lunchbox from 1985, belonging to some very special bears. These are the Care Bears. Now, you might wonder, what came first, the cartoon, the comic books, the TV show? Well, actually, the Care Bears were invented for a 1981 series of greeting cards. The Care Bears were invented by American Greetings all the way back in 1981. They made their debut in 1982. They were licensed to Parker Brothers and Kenner, who began making toys. They put out greeting cards. They put out plush bears. There was an entire wave of Care Bears merchandise. If you were a child, and specifically a young lady in the early 90s, you were in love with the Care Bears. There were two Care Bear movies. The first one was called The Care Bears in the Land Without Feelings. So sad. And the second one was The Care Bears Battle the Freeze Machines. They had enemies. There was Professor Coldheart and his sidekick Frostbite, and then they eventually teamed up with the Care Cousins, who were animals that weren't bears. They were different animals. But in the middle of all this, we got this lunchbox. This lunchbox was released in 1985. That was the same year that Care Bears got their own television cartoon, which ran from 1985 to 1988. So Care Bears were everywhere. Caring is sharing, and the Care Bears like to share their feelings through their little tummy. Some things refer to them as a belly badge. Some call them their tummy symbols. But as you can see, every Care Bear was unique. Every Care Bear was a different color. So they weren't like Smurfs, in which they all looked like. Every Care Bear was very unique. They were all different colors, and then they had their little individual belly powers on them. You can see like there's Good Luck Bear right there with his shamrock is a four-leaf clover, and there's Bedtime Bear. And so there were all different bears. Now, in the beginning, there were 10 different bears, and those bears were Bedtime Bear, Birthday Bear, Cheer Bear, Friend Bear, Funshine Bear, Good Luck Bear, Grumpy Bear, Love-A-Lot Bear, Tenderheart Bear, and Wish Bear. Can you figure out which ones are which just by looking at their pictures? Now, as far as vintage lunchbox goes, as you know, they have this embossed metal design. This is a Aladdin lunchbox, which was one of the biggest manufacturers of metal lunchboxes in the 70s and 80s. And of course, you get different artwork on either side. So this, both of them have rainbows in the background and lots of little extra features. The little stars, there's little star people that almost remind me of something from Super Mario Brothers or Mario Kart. But you can see on the other side here we have 5 of the bears, and then 5 are on the other side. There's Grumpy, who was always my favorite as a kid. When I saw this, I thought he was putting a firecracker in his mouth, which would be on brand for Grumpy. But no, it looks like he's just sipping a drink there. Another great thing about vintage lunchboxes, as you probably know, is that they have artwork on the side. So no matter how you carried your lunch to school and put it, whether it was on the table or sitting on a shelf or whatever, there was always artwork to look at. And the artwork was always very colorful. Now, sometimes the artwork is more, the ones that are based on movies, a lot of times have scenes from the movies and things like that. This isn't quite as interesting, but as you can see, there are more pictures of the Care Bears doing Care Bear kind of things. Now, if you didn't watch the Care Bears, each one of these Care Bears, they could use their belly badge and they could shoot out, good feelings or send out birthday cheer and things from their belly. And then there was a thing that they could do where they all got together and they would combine all their powers into one power. I forgot what that was called, but then they would all shoot their powers together and then they could, change someone's cold heart. I think that's what they used against Professor Coldheart to try to win him over. But as you can see, we've got artwork on all four sides. It was always a mystery to see what artwork they were going to put underneath the metal handle here. Now, every lunchbox also has a color theme. As you can see, the highlights are in this light baby blue, I would call it. We've got a matching handle here on the top. And then, as with every Aladdin lunchbox inside, you've got the little diagram there showing you which way to put the thermos back in the lunchbox. This lunchbox, which I picked up at a antique mall, the tag was just on this. I just took it off, but the tag was $20, which is a pretty good deal. These go, this particular one I've seen go for $40 to $50 on eBay right now, especially one that's in not rusted out. But it also came with the thermos. Now, every kid had to have their thermos, of course, and as you can see, we've got the artwork all the way around. All different Care Bears frolicking around, having a good time. There were millions and millions. In fact, according to Wikipedia, over 40 million Care Bear figures were sold between 1983 and 1987, and 70 million greeting cards were printed. Now, it's kind of interesting that if you remember, there was another thing called the shirt tails. If you remember the shirt tails, and they were little bears and animals, and they had a message on their t-shirt. Shirt tails were created by Hallmark greeting cards in 1980. And so a lot of people think this was American greeting cards response to the shirt tails. But instead of having messages on a t-shirt, they had them on their belly. So again, you could see all the cute little bears, Care Bears. This is not a lunchbox that any young man would have been caught dead carrying. And I got to tell you, I have many, many lunchboxes in my collection that I have purchased as an adult and have lied to cashiers and told them they are for someone else. That this is a gift for someone else, and I don't want to tell them that a middle-aged man is going to come home and put this on the shelf with all his other lunchboxes. But just because this is one of the earlier episodes, I will show you that if you're not familiar with these, if you're of a certain age or you don't remember, again, we've got the same color scheme, right? We've got the baby blue on the top and the bottom. This is a lid that also functions as a cup. So now you have a cup to pour your things in. There is a spout that flips out on the top. So you could take that spout, pour your milk or Kool-Aid or whatever mom sent with you, lemonade, water, whatever that was, and you would put that on there. And then to refill this, of course, and this is a part of the program that's called the Thermos Dare, because I don't tend to open these. I have bought 50 or 60 lunchboxes, and I never open these, but I'm going to open each one on this show. Hopefully this is not full of milk from 40 years ago, but we are about to find out. So the lids unscrew. I'm not going to look. I'm going to close my eyes. It's not milk. It's more of a strong plastic smell. So lucked out on this one. It looks like I think a lot of people wash these before they put them up for sale, but there's no guarantee. Never know what we're going to find in the thermos challenge. So lid goes back on the thermos. Cap goes on the lid. And what we will do, open this up. We'll follow the directions right there. Put the thermos back in the lid. So, was this a thermos that I had as a child? No. Was this a thermos my sister had? Maybe. She might have had Care Bears. I know she had a Holly Hobby and she had a strawberry shortcake. Care Bears is possibly one that she had as well. So, overall, my review of this one is not great. And it's not because I'm not a Care Bears fan, but what we've got here is 5 Care Bears in front of a rainbow. And then on the other side, we have 5 other Care Bears in front of a rainbow. So, a lot of lunchboxes give you 2 very different scenes on either side of the lunchbox. And this one is really similar. And then again, this artwork around here is kind of uninspired. I mean, we do have Care Bears frolicking and doing stuff, but they're not really doing stuff. They're more just kind of posed and sitting around, I mean, they're all on there, but, this wouldn't be real exciting. And that was the biggest thing about a lunchbox is, when you went to lunch, you would sit there and open it up at the lunch table, and you would have stuff to look at. Kids would look at your lunchbox and say, "Oh, that's cool. That's neat," or whatever, So, not too exciting adventures happening here with the Care Bears, but it is what it is. It's not a bad. It's very colorful, and so that is what it is. So every day until I run out of lunchboxes, we will be doing vintage lunchbox reviews. So I have lots and lots and lots of vintage lunchboxes. So come back tomorrow, and we'll see what vintage lunchbox is on the menu.